I kind of mentioned this to you before, but getting feedback for bugs, asking people to break the game, that was incredibly beneficial. It was also very beneficial to have a diverse set of playtesters. I did harass my friends who are not in this department to come and play, which was very, very helpful. And then we also got some perspective from the teachers who are very used to playing our games and our products and seeing if it is at a place where it should be in optimal player feedback style. So going through all of that, I think was a really good experience. It was also a really good experience to work with my UX team who does usability most of the time, where I do playtesting. So seeing those worlds kind of collide was interesting and very beneficial, I think, for both sides. I don't know if this is like a very common practice, but when Jake, my UX lead, and I sat down, we proposed a challenge to everybody, and we were like, break this game. Do as much as you can to find as many bugs as you possibly can. Don't play it the way that we want you to. Play it the way that you feel like you should. And we noticed that that got us a lot of really thorough bug feedback. We do have a couple...
They did in fact break the game.
They did in fact break the game, which is really good. That's what we wanted. For example, there was a skip tutorial button because we just didn't have it in a place that we wanted. So we were like, hey users, can you just hit that? We don't have it in yet. And if you hit it twice, everything in the scene was deleted. So that was a really interesting bug.
So the whole thing, if you click skip tutorial twice in the time that it's up, it just exits everything.
That's not happening anymore, but it did for our playtest, which is it was a good experience to go through.
So I am Avery Macke. I am lead programmer on Canon Brawl. I am feeling incredibly good about programming and the progress we've made. We are getting to the point where we're all in stretch goals. It's just minor bug fixes and like saying, you know what else would be cool? Let's do this, since we have that extra time, which I'm very thankful for. I know other teams have been a little stressed out about where their projects are, but I'm very thankful that my team has been really good about keeping up with milestones. And thank you, Haley, for picking a 2D game for us. It's so much easier to program than a 3D game. So coming into the IM department, we start out with 2D games. So the game design freshmen all have at least some base level knowledge of this is how Unity 2D works. Unity 3D, it's all the same programming language, stuff like that, except you do have to worry about like an extra axis. There's just some like minor differences and definitely a little bit to get accustomed to. On top of that, you have to do 3D models for a 3D game, so I'm very thankful we don't have to do that either.
So I'm Connor Dunn. I'm the art lead for Canon Brawl. So favorite part of the art was, I think designing the ships was definitely really fun. Like we have the shark pirates are all, like, it was just really fun to come up with different ships for those. Like we've got some sort of like mechanical shark type thing, and we've got, for pirate ships, we've got one that looks kind of like a violin, so just getting to like figure stuff out and be creative with all that was a really good time.
What all has been made so far? What all assets? Are currently.
So a big thing with the game is like customizing your ship. So we had to have like we had two different sides. So you had the like, regular pirates and then like shark pirates. And each of those had 3 different like ship hull types, 3 different cannon types, and 3 different sail types. So before I was lead, I made like versions of those. And then once I was lead, I passed it off to Aiden to deal with the hard part of making like the different damage states as they get like damaged each time, and like they come slightly broken and then completely destroyed.
I feel good about the feedback we've gotten for sure. You know, like a lot of the stuff that was an issue in testing and stuff like that, is a lot of stuff that we've gotten from David and Heather is stuff that's pretty easily fixable, very easily workable. We do have one like major catch in our project now though, and it is that it's yet another issue with Apple because we love them. So like on their site, it says that it'd take like a month max to get something approved on the App Store. We talked to Heather and she said it took her 4 months to get a student's project approved, and we don't have 4 months. So now we are looking at building in WebGL instead of like natively to your device. which it has its own set of problems. But for the most part, it should be an easy transition. The good thing about Unity is that you don't have to change too much of how you're actually working in Unity to build the different platforms, which is good. I mean, obviously there's some caveats to that, and I'm not a programmer, so, don't take my word as law, but generally, it should be a pretty simple switch. We might have some issues, getting camera detection to work from a browser, but we should be able to transition hopefully pretty easy. We'll see in the next week or two.
So, how are you feeling about the feedback you've gotten from usability testing?
Pretty good. Pretty good, honestly. User testing, there was some issues. It was our first user test. But honestly, like, a lot of the bigger issues were things that were really, really easy to fix. Like, we had an issue just with, like, the scanner functionality, being able to read something when the user wanted it to. Like, it was taking multiple tries to get it, and, like,
what is it that you need the scanner to read?
So the way that we can tell if a user is at an experience is they scan a QR code, like at the physical location of the experience at Fuse.
Okay.
But so we were having issues getting the scanner to actually read the QR codes when we wanted them to.
Got it.
But that was one of the biggest issues for usability testing, and we fixed it in like a day.
Hi, my name's Jeremiah. I'm a freshman programmer on the team for FUSEBOX. In terms of creating games, that is in my experience with it, I've created a few things just for class, and this is probably like the first thing I've made more or less on my own just because I can. I mean, I wouldn't be here if that wasn't my goal. I'm really looking forward to getting better at what I'm doing so I can do it more in the future.
So what is your role on the team here?
I'm a freshman programmer. I have little experience, so I was sent to make a mini game on my own, and after some delays, I eventually decided to make a block pushing mini game, which has been completed, but doesn't have any art or sound effects or anything like that, and it has not yet been implemented into the actual FUSEBOX project.
Gotcha. So by block pushing, you mean like that wood block lock game where you have to move them around to get something all the way through?
It's a
It's
a top-down game where you have like a character on a grid, and there's walls and obstacles, and you have to push blocks into holes to like fill in gaps in the floor, and then walk over them and get to the goal.
Yeah, my name is Lucas Johnson. My role on the team is a programmer. How I felt about the feedback is it's pretty good so far. I mean, we've only had one play testing session, but like, it seems that we're going in the right direction. Obviously we need to adjust slightly for, just so it can be a better experience for the user, but it feels like we are really going in the right direction.
So what's your role on the team?
I'm just a programmer. I help, I actually joined the team a little bit later, so I just help fill in where we need.
Gotcha. So you've been working with the Xcode on this, right? I've heard that's been a problem for you.
Yeah, we ran into a little bit of issues working with Xcode because none of us had used it before, but luckily, recently we've been able to figure it out and build to the phone itself. But
yeah, you had a phone build for the usability testing the other day, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how did that go? How's the feedback been from that?
We got a lot of useful feedback. Certainly some changes we'll need to make, but overall people like being able to use their phone instead of having to use like a tiny laptop or something like that.
Yeah. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with it in the next test.
Awesome.
More high fidelity.
I'm Ashton Lively. I'm team lead and programming lead on End of Feline. I'm feeling really good about the direction of the project and all the feedback we've gotten because the gameplay is all there, completely working, not bug-free, but it's working. And the art team has really gotten kind of the aesthetic down for what we're going for, and they're all putting like all their effort into it. It's just, I feel like everyone on the team is on the same page and really excited for the project, which I feel like is really helping it come along as quickly as it is.
Wait, so how does this QR scanning of the game work, since you have it in your hand here?
Okay, you scan the QR code, and the QR code registers in the game. No. So basically, to register which QR code it is, you can change the prefixes on it. So when a QR code is scanned, it essentially just types in a URL or whatever it is the QR code contains. These just have strings of text, and we just have it set up so literally what it says is what the
elemental attack is.
Yeah.
Like if you have when you scan the fire, you do a fire attack, or you do a water attack, and so forth.
So what it does is, if you scan this code, it will type fire into the computer. I can kind of show you it right here real quick. I can't actually remember what gave us the idea for the QR code reading. I know Skylar Barnes really suggested the cat theme, and everyone was really on board for, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of like cat game where you collected bananas. And then from there, that became a cat game where you're facing a wizard, and there's no bananas. So I'm not entirely sure where the QR code came from. I think it was a lot of just wanting some sort of, not gimmick, but some sort of different type of gameplay to mess with.
I'm Adrian Ramirez, and my main role is music composition. I compose the music for music composition. I feel like I'm in a rock and a hard place, because really my only job is to make music, and it feels like it's hard because sometimes like you go into the process of making music with a goal in mind, like, oh, I want to make battle music, but then like the flow takes you elsewhere. Like I go into a project with the idea of I'm gonna make battle music and then come up with like credits music. Like instead of being like powerful, it's more like emotional, stuff like that.
So you're the sound designer for this team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's the music writing been going for you?
It's okay. Like, I think I've been doing good. Right now I've hit like an art block where it's like I keep starting over because I can't get
Can't quite get it right.
Yeah.
Alright, so my name is Eden Collins, and my role on the team is basically an artist and / animator. I think the art team is actually doing really well at this moment, and I think our art design going forward is really well. It's quite strong compared to what other teams I've heard that were pretty ahead of schedule. Knock on wood. And I think I'm excited to see where we're going with this in the near future. Yeah, I've been doing most of the environmental design of it, and
definitely. So what is the environment? I know you're about to show, but what is the environmental design consist of?
Yeah, so the main background is basically a castle, but it's in ruins and there are mines all over it. Right?
Okay.
And then you have a platform that's like the players sit on, and it's a tree with vines on it. But a little tidbit is that all the vines are silver vine, which is an alternative to catnip.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
it sounds like you've put a lot of like thought into the theme.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. We have most of like the gameplay coded into our game, which is nice. So from here on out, it's just gonna be a lot more like polishing. Our music finally is getting wrapped up, about ready to be done, so that we can add our music in, which I think will help a lot for playtesting. If people actually have something to listen to while they're doing it and not just like, oh, gotta step on the arrow. So that'll be nice when we get like the sound effects in and the music. And yeah, like just getting like our UI polished and stuff in there. Playtesting went really well. It helped when we were able to connect it to the monitor and have it displayed bigger so people could see it, which helped a lot. So yeah, I don't know, the team's working really hard, really proud of them. I'll be excited to see how things are going after spring break as we get, even closer to the finish line, so.
All right, my name is Jessica Peters, and I am the co-lead of Rhythm Rumble. I'm also the programming lead. A lot of the problem comes with the fact that the input system we're using that codes the controllers is not something that's built on board with Unity. It was built for Unity, but it's an extra package that you need to download and then download add-ons onto that package. So by the end of it, it's something that we've never been taught in class. We have to relearn it from tutorials that were made in 2015, 2018, and since then the program's been updated. So a lot of the functions that we are used to having don't work anymore, so we have to find new workarounds. So it's going to be a lot of sitting through documentation and trying new things instead of being able to just go in and code it. I wouldn't call it a bug, but there is a problem that I was just explaining to them, where Unity has trouble recognizing that there are controllers unless you're stepping on them and giving them input. So it doesn't know how to assign player 1 and player 2 unless player 1 and player 2 touch the controllers in a very specific order.
So the player 1 would have to get on first and player 2 has to get on second.
Because you can't just rearrange the pads last second.
What's the workaround stuff? We're trying to figure that out now.
Yes, that's our main concern with the gameplay right now.
My name is Jolie Deanna, and I'm the art and animation team lead. So I'm basically in charge of making the characters move and making sure they look pretty.
So it's going better than I originally thought it would. We don't have everything finished. We're a little bit over halfway through, but we still have some stuff to clean up, tiny little things to add, and some big things to finish up. But I feel like we're doing pretty good, all things and setbacks considered.
We have sort of a smaller team right now. We only have about 5 people, so we're doing the best we can on our schedule.
On the animation team, you have 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So far, we've got a lot of the major moves done. We're sort of trying to focus on some of the smaller, easier stuff right now. We want to put in at least a standard walk cycle into each of their moves to get them sort of close enough to hit each other or to look like they're hitting each other. And as well as working on idols and damages and also doing more moves for each of them. But basically, we're about halfway done with all that, and by the time it's finished, all the movements should line up accordingly and flow together.
Did I write all the music for this? No. It was mostly me who kind of got everything together and kind of wrapped it all together, bound it together. I kind of just gave orders of what we wanted to get done, and the other 2 members that we have, and also everyone else, helped to bring all the stuff to be put together. The direction of the music that's going right now, I'd say it's actually much better than what I was thinking it would end up being. At first, the reason why I took the entire lead for this role was because there was no one else in the entire room that was willing to do it or thought they had the knowledge to do it. And so I was thinking, well, I should probably do this then. I'll go on ahead and lead. But then we got some other people who were also very good composers, and I'm really happy with the team we have.
Next time on Fuse Plugged In.
As of late, the whole team right now I think is kind of sort of gathering their energy to make one more final push before Fuse.
It might feel like we don't have a lot of time, but I know my team has put a lot of hard work into this, so if we push forward, we'll be able to get what we need ready.
We set a set goal of how many models we need done by each week, sort of. So now we're in the final goal is to get all of them done by the end of the next 2 weeks, which I think we can pull off.